Shannon, who won the battle between Norman and Beckham?
Skip, after last year, what he did, and he and Norman, what did he think, how did he think the league was going to handle him and Norman when they got together again? I thought the officials handled it well. Mm-hmm. Any of these shenanigans from last year come onto the field this year, you're gone. That's what should have happened last year, but it didn't. Okay, they changed the rules to unsportsmanlike conduct. Josh Norman won this battle because not only did he get a offensive pass interference on that last drive, he got a costly drop. He got the Giant center to get thrown out of the game for cheap shotting him in the back, pick up his second unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. So it's clearly Josh Norman won this ball game. Not only did he get a guy ejected, not only did he get an offensive pass interference, not only did Odell Beckham drop his team won. That's first and foremost. Odell Beckham Jr. could have caught for 300 yards, but as long as my team win, I win. So now I get a drop, I got a pass interference, I got your center ejected, and we won. I got the quad. Mm-hmm. He won. Josh Norman won the mental battle.
Josh Norman earned his $75 million yesterday. At least that game check he earned.
Yeah, he did, but Skip, let's not get fooled because they had a lot of help over the top. He was not covering Odell Beckham Jr. exclusively man-to-man. He had safety help, so he got an opportunity to get physical underneath because he knew he had help over the top. So I don't want people to say, well, wow, he shut him down. No, he did not. He had a lot of help. There are a lot of bracket coverages going on in that ball game.
But that happens with everybody. But he did, you got to give it up. He traveled yesterday.
He did.
He traveled everywhere.
Yes.
I saw a stat from NFL that 51 times out of 63 Giant snaps, he went with them.
Yes.
So you got to give it up. You've been hard on him about that, and you got to say, hey, at least this time
he did.
You did it. You're not a zone corner.
He earned some frequent flyer miles with this game.
All right. To me, Josh Norman really got him again. Maybe got him worse this time than the last time. He got under his skin, he got inside his head, and he finally sent Odell Beckham Jr. over the edge once again when it mattered the most. To your point about what point of the game is it? I realize Odell caught 7 balls for 121 yards. Looks pretty good on the stat sheet. Didn't get it in the end zone one time, and I thought those 7 catches were relatively irrelevant, just relative to the scheme and flow of the game. It didn't really matter. There were no killer catches, no big momentum shifters from Odell Beckham Jr. So then what happened? 1st and 10 at the Washington 15, 13:42 left in the game. So still, this is early in the fourth quarter, and Eli, right on schedule, throws it to the goal line, and Quentin Dunbar intercepts at the goal line, right? And Odell thought that he had just made a catch that had put them in position and that he would be able to cash this one in.
Right.
And what happened? Odell Beckham Jr. lost it on the sideline. Swings his helmet wildly at the kicking net, and it swung back. He hit the metal, and the metal tagged him right in the face. And I think he had a little mouse under his eye from it, if that's in fact how he got the mouse under his eye. And then Eli had to take him under his wing and try to talk him off the ledge. And I don't think he was able to talk him off the ledge because, as you pointed out, down the stretch when it mattered most, big drop where he's just trying too hard, thinking about all the wrong things, thinking about that guy, Josh, instead of this football. And then he gets the slightly out of control pick play offensive pass interference.
And all he has to do is make Norman go over the top.
Just get in his way. And he has to go because he thought he had a legal shot at him, so he's going to overdo it.
Yes.
He's going to take it over the edge. And it left Odell Beckham Jr. on the sideline at the end of the game crying. It looked to me like he was crying, right?
Yes.
And I don't know if he was crying for his team or for himself, because I believe all week long, all offseason long, he mostly made this team versus team matchup about him versus Josh Norman. And it just tore him up. He couldn't close the deal. He knew he lost a little bit of control. And this is why we talk about Eli Manning's not elite. This is why Odell, to me, is not an elite receiver, because he loses emotional control too often. That's not what an elite. Shannon Sharpe never did that. One time. Did you ever lose it like that? No.
Not at that moment of the game, Skip. You can't. And I tweeted yesterday, 13, take the emotion out of the game.
Well, you have to.
You have to
Right.
be able to do that. And I don't have a problem with him crying because it tells me if it doesn't hurt, you're probably not that invested in the game anyway. So I don't know if he was crying because they lost the game. I don't know if he was crying because of the penalties and Josh Norman, whatever it was. But in either case, I'm cool with it because it shows me he's fully invested. But our Jay Glazer reported that he got a fine last week for doing something, cheap shotting a New Orleans Saint, hitting him in the back.
Yep.
So now, I get he's young. He's a young man. I get all that. As immensely as talented as he is.
Immensely talented.
But Skip, if these plays keep popping up, it prevents his growth and it hurts his team from succeeding. And that's what you have to understand. It's at some point in time, he's got to say, you know what? It's bigger than Odell Beckham Jr. It's more than my numbers. It's about the Giants winning. And if the Giants win, the success will come. Because, see, the worst thing that could have happened is that when he made that catch, they lost. He still became a mythical figure. They haven't been to the playoffs since he's been there.
That's true.
But he's still the man of Gotham. Mm-hmm. So what has transpired, he says, well, I really don't need the Giants to win because if I do what I do, hey, the media, the interviews, the endorsements, all that's going to come regardless. So sometimes the worst thing can happen is when a player has individual success while his team is not having success at all. And that's what we see with Odell Beckham Jr. But until he learns, if he wants to be a champion, now he's going to put up gaudy numbers because he's so talented. He has a quarterback in Eli that can get him the football. Yeah, he's going to turn it over. But if he wants the ultimate success, you got to get those rings. The reason why people talk about Jerry, yeah, Jerry's the greatest, but Jerry got jewelry. The reason why they talk about Michael Irvin, Michael has jewelry. And the knock on T.O., as great a numbers as he has, and Randy Moss or Chris Carter, they got no jewelry.
True.
So if he wants...
By the way, Shannon Sharpe has big jewelry.
I have jewelry. But
Yeah.
you know what, Skip? For me, you don't think I wanted the ball? But I knew how much time Ed and Rod had spent studying and practicing. They wanted the ball too. They're like, hey, I'm in the NFL just like you are. I'm just as talented as you are. I work just as hard as you do. And sometimes players lose sight of that. They think they're the only one working hard. They're the only one studying tape. They're the only one training hard in the offseason. No, maybe they don't do it as hard as you do. Okay, but they're out there busting their butt too. But Odell, until he realizes that this is the ultimate team game. Because in basketball, LeBron can score 40, but he can also play D on Steph Curry or Westbrook. In baseball, I can hit, I can also field my position. But in football, I'm dependent. Everybody is dependent on someone else doing their job. Odell doesn't play defense. Odell doesn't play special team. So until he realizes that his actions are hurting the team even more than they're hurting him, they're going to continue to run into these problems.